Alright, well, since my preliminary task, I think I've learned a lot. I've definitely learned a lot in the progression from the preliminary task to the full product. First of all, my preliminary task started off with the 180-degree rule and the match in action. Ever since that, I've been able to use my filming and editing skills to express and illustrate ideas, obviously to develop my and complete my final construction. Here's an example. Here's me. I'm having a conversation with Manuela, and we're just using basic match in action to display a conversation. I don't know what's happened. This seems not to be working. Okay. Here, right from this point, I've been able to film, stop, match in action. Right, when the doors open, I'm bursting through, and again, and then again. This is very easy. This has helped me develop my filming skills, my editing skills, and overall match in action. Like for example, here I did a visual storyboard. I was able to film my storyboard and patch it together as if it was a normal, it was as if it was a normal match in action opening film title. Yeah, I'd have opening credits, blah 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 blah. But yeah, just stitching, patching and stitching pieces of clips together. And yeah, if I just refer back to looking back at the preliminary task. So looking back at it now, I can definitely say that I've developed from a simple task of patching and stitching 2 bits of clips to adding audio, specific images, specific match on action. For example, I did the graphic match, which actually involved the blood dripping, the tap dripping, and the blood. There we go. Now, if I hadn't completed these preliminary tasks and I hadn't carried out all of these tasks, then I would not have the skills able to produce and complete these tasks here. So yeah, just looking through again, this is another development of like filming, editing, and match and action skills. This is me completing a task in which I had to film myself along with Sandy and Hannah to show our editing skills. There we go. It's all very smooth on how it moves from one scene to another. One shot even. Don't watch me get angry. Yeah. Adding music as well, fades in and fades out. This is all things I've learned and been able to do now. And yeah, if I just refer back to remind myself, looking back at the preliminary task, what do you feel you have learned in progression? Okay, I've definitely learned the basic skills to carry out and complete real media products. So yeah, I mean using a normal digital camera, if I hadn't in the preliminary task had to transfer clips from the video to the computer to upload onto YouTube to then post on my blog, I would not be able to do the same with my real media construction. Here I use the camera, so different to the school camera, so I had to again learn how to transfer it from that memory card onto the computer and then carry out the same process. And yeah, I think the preliminary task as well, basically, having to post up my blog was the first sort of initial task which like kind of created my skills or like it, developed my skills of being able to post stuff on my blog and actually show development. And here's just more and more videos of what I've been able to do ever since. And yeah, I think I've been able to develop pretty far from my preliminary tasks right up to my real media product. and I'll show you my Real Media products now. This is just, so all of this filming clips, potential clips for my edit, all help the development and the skill for the final product. And here, the preliminary task taught me how to edit and stuff. I would not have been able to do any of the things I'm doing now, placing clips of video and clips of audio and patching them together. This is the software I used. This is actually me demonstrating a problem that I had with construction. But then again, if I hadn't learned what I had learned, I wouldn't have been able to solve these problems. So this is a prime example of what I've been able to develop and what I've been able to grow and overcome due to the preliminary task at the beginning. So just using software, I've never used editing software before having to complete this media construction or this actual coursework itself, which involves the preliminary task. And I can pause it now and I'll show you my Real Media product. And again here, screen recordings and everything. This has all helped me develop my idea and my kind of like my train of thought through right up into my final construction, which is right here. I can show you. Also, having problems with constantly exporting, I had to find the right frames per second and the right video quality. The quality of this video of my final construction is not as good as the camera is. The camera is 1080p, however, with different light exposure, it meant that different films were filmed with different qualities, and it meant that I had to go for a lower quality 720 to kind of get the average of what it all would have looked like, except the images are actually crisp and clean. However, here, the preliminary task, using software, I'm then able to experiment. And if I just explain that scene there, that scene was a lot further zoomed out, except having to zoom in and stabilize the camera using the editing software, stabilize the video I mean, I've actually been able to develop almost a smooth sort of train, which it actually went into dark, which I actually used to my advantage, where I could bring in the letters and have the letters mysterious and stand out and really be bold for the audience, and it's clear that this is a opening scene. This is an opening movie titled rather than a trailer, as we can see in the order of the credits. And yeah, all of this is the action of right here as well. The preliminary task taught me how to do all of these things, adding audio as well. Yeah. I'm going to flushing of the toilet. So actually having the flushing of the toilet, specific scenes and shots, I actually had to delete the audio that came with the shot and keep just the music playing instead. But stuff like the tap here and the flushing of the toilet would not be realistic if you couldn't hear those. So that's more of a development as well that I've been able to. And here again, I also experimented now, being able to use filming. I was able to experiment with light exposure. If I kept the light exposure at a certain setting, it meant that the light got more and more as the shot carried on, and I think it actually worked to my advantage in creating sort of this like parallel universe in which this female, she's stuck in and she's trying to get out of. She's a bit confused, however, it seems almost normal and too real to question. And if you look at later on in my development of my story, she finds that actually this is very real and it's not a dream at all. And she becomes quite psychotic. And again, like the match and action here, I was able to develop and just, yeah, like basically from clear and like easy tasks, I've been able to develop like quite a simplistic yet effective video clip, which has allowed me to now produce my final construction. And I think there's a lot that I've developed and learned from this. And yeah, also screen recordings and all of this for my evaluation questions has all been very, very helpful. And that's the development of being able to post stuff on my blog and explain it as well. So yeah.